Welcome to Nuppet News. I'm Russ Richmond.
I'm Burner.
Special guest co-host is legendary Alaskan cannabis news
Goddess.
and my baby cousin, who did so well at her last job, I pulled some strings, Charlo Green.
Thank you, Cousin Russ. I am so happy to be joining the team, and I promise this will be nothing like the last...
Never mind. That's what family is for.
Hey, Charlo, you ever felt?
I am so sorry, Charlo.
He is sorry. I would never make you feel sorry, Charlo.
Burner, please.
National Survey on Teen Marijuana Use debunks anti-legalization theories. NIDA has released the results of the annual Monitoring the Future study they sponsor, and the data seems to support the notion that marijuana legalization will not lead to its increase in teens. Fend off sensible marijuana policy efforts. Yes, Mr. Burner?
Your level of professionalism is embarrassing.
Did you see the way she was looking at me?
I'm sure she wasn't looking at you.
She's so smart and hot.
That's my family.
I can be your family.
That is never going to happen.
Stay tuned. We'll continue to watch this story grow.
That's my baby cousin, and she doesn't have the best judgment, so you stay away from her.
I don't have the best judgment. You know what? I don't need you, Putz Buttman.
Don't call me that, I'm telling.
You know what? I don't need this. Puppet, I quit. We could have been Burner.
No, Charlo. Charlo, why?
And that's Nuppet News on Nug Life TV.
Charlo.
You wait till we get home.
It's time for Nug Life Radio, a higher level of education for the cannabis counterculture community, featuring Medi Mike with the cannabis correspondent Benji. Like us on Facebook.com/NugLifeRadioShow, Twitter @TheRealNugLife, and Instagram NugLifeRadio. I'm your announcer, Recreational Riley. Here's Medi Mike.
Everybody, welcome to the Nug Life Radio Show, a higher level of education for the cannabis counterculture community. You're listening to us live in Edge Studios at the Odd Fellows building in beautiful San Francisco. I am your host, cannabis comedian, and just beautiful guy on the inside where it counts, Medicinal Mike, here with the one and only sexiest abs in cannabis, Benji Cooper. How you doing, brother?
Pretty good. How you doing?
Fantastic, sir. Having all kinds of fun with my mic today. How's your day going? Did you have a good week?
I had a very good week. Actually, I launched the comics section on CannaGeek today. There's only one comic up there right now, but that will change.
No, that's fantastic. You're doing which comic?
The one I put up today is called Bob and Skull. The story is called Lunchbox of Matches. Bob acquires a magical bud-hounding cat from Happy the Weed Elf, and antics ensue.
No, that's fantastic. We do have a great show for everybody today. It's going to be awesome. We have Tommy the Roach Lucero comedian. He's going to be calling us in. He was going to be on the other week, but he was in Hawaii. And then we also have... our Nuppets, our fantastic little puppets that we filmed and worked so hard on, and we showed it to nobody. So thanks to Paul Brumbaugh back here and hence Singleton, we're able to bring the past to real life, where we are now in real life. So it's going to be great. I was stuck. If you didn't notice, I wasn't here last weekend. Paul was holding it down with Amy Fisher. I was on my way to the Farmers Cup in beautiful San Diego, California, and got snowed in that storm at the Grapevine, that big snowstorm. So I spent about 4 days just trying to go from road closed sign. There were streets washed out. We went through oil fields, and we were hydroplaning in the car at like 5 miles an hour, just spinning around because the mud was so thick. But it was a good trip. I took my 20-year-old son, and We didn't make the event, so we missed it by a whole day. But I did take the kids to Disneyland, all 4 of them, and that was good. 3 blood kids and 1 soul kid.
I didn't make it to the event either, and I live down here. I was sick.
Yeah. What were you dying of? COVID?
No, I don't think so. It was just like a cold or a flu, but it hung on for a good week or so. I'm pretty much over it now. Still a couple
that's good.
very, very mild recovery symptoms, but doing much, much better.
Well, that's fantastic to hear. The headlines this week are in the news. A boy arrested after cannabis, nunchucks, and sword found in a raid, which is fantastic. I didn't even know they had like a weed kung fu thing going on. We are going to hear the whole stories of these later on during the news segments. But that is what, if you stay tuned, you're going to find out about ninja throwing kids. It's like a white people Yakuza, I'm guessing. Also in the news, Harry says, that's Prince Harry, says, or is it King Harry now? What is he?
He's the Duke.
Duke. Well,
He's a
Duke Harry, Duke Prince Harry, says marijuana helped him mentally, but cocaine did nothing for him, which I'm appreciative. If you're going to run a country, know the drugs that you're trying to work with out there. But it did nothing for him. I don't know what he thought cocaine was going to do for him, but we appreciate that he tried. Maybe he tried to like paint his kitchen or something and found out.
I think it was part of his coping mechanism, recovery mechanism for after his mom died in that car crash in the 80s.
You made that relapse sound like the most beautiful thing in the world. Yeah, I was helping myself mentally by getting into cocaine for a few weeks, and I found it did nothing. That dude probably snorted a house, like the amount that you could buy a house. Because you got that much money, you're gonna spell your name out. He was like Prince, Duke, Harry, in cursive.
Well, he said that he did other things like alcohol and even ayahuasca, but he said the thing that really helped him out was cannabis. He said nothing else really, like the alcohol really didn't grab him. He said he would be like at a party and everybody else would be drinking and he would kind of feel left out, and so he would leave because
cocaine is a horrible, horrible drug. And I've tried just about everything that's not, gonna kill me. But that is like a horrible, horrible drug. You get to feel the buzz for about 20 minutes, and then you have to do more, and then you have to do more, and then you have to do more, and then your teeth fall out.
Businessman's high, right? Because it's expensive.
Oh, super. I don't think it's expensive anymore. I would imagine. Or what, do you think inflation has brought the cost of cocaine through the roof?
The businessman's high because it doesn't last very long, so you need more of it, and so you have to keep buying. So that's how it gets expensive. I prefer the cannabis myself, even though I've never tried cocaine.
Oh, well, you should.
I feel like caffeine would be a similar. It's like caffeine, right? The stimulant.
You want to be like the royal family, don't you?
Do I?
Do you? But do you? We do have a great show. Our first comedian guest I'm happy to have into the studio. This gentleman has performed all over the United States. He's a cannabis comic, but he's not a cannabis comic. He's like a drugs comic. I performed with him at HempCon. I've toured with him all over the U.S. He was part of the original Nug Life Radio Show cast, where he had donned the name, The Roach. Tommy the Roach Lucero. Welcome to Nug Life Radio Show. Tommy, how you doing, brother?
What's up, buddy? How you doing?
I know I sound like crap to you, but we're trying to actively fix it as we do the show. So.
The fact that you sound like crap makes me appreciate your consistency, Michael.
Yeah. It's the same. 10 years ago to now, nothing has changed.
Yeah.
Tommy was
There's
like...
a picture of you somewhere getting healthier.
Tommy was like the stunt man for our show. So if we needed somebody to they're going to take 20 grams of wax, and we're going to light it with a blowtorch and add some Nestle Quick on it. Tommy's the first one to I'll do it. We did.
Yeah, my arm was the first hand that went up.
What do you think out of all the antics you've had to do was like the craziest besides your DUI?
And besides the relationships?
Yeah, no,
because...
with the show, the fun stuff.
Okay, the chugging syrup.
Chugging syrup, like pancake syrup?
Don't you remember that?
We did that?
That we did. I have the medical records to prove it.
You know, I have type 2 diabetes now too, and I'm wondering how I caught that. And now it's making more sense. How much syrup did you drink?
We both drank a whole bottle.
You know what? I think I remember that now. I think I remember that. God, anything. This is
syrup medicated?
No, it was,
No,
Mrs.
it was just maple
Butterworth.
syrup.
Probably,
Okay.
it's probably
Well, I
Kroger.
also, back then, because I had various problems, I also snorted a bunch of keef.
Ah, I remember that.
Of course you do.
Snorted it off a set of car keys.
Yeah, and I have not slept the same since.
He has
my
not
friend.
slept
It's,
since. And you
I
just
think it deviated my septum.
you just came back from Hawaii. You got to do some shows out there. What was that like?
Oh, it was a lot of fun, man. I did a clean show and did so well on the clean show that I got some connections for some other islands to do some stuff out there this summer.
Oh, so you're gonna be like a regular in Hawaii now.
Fucking A.
That's cool. um, so
You know that. I mean, that's
how
I
long?
give you a lot of credit for getting me to go out there like that. Like, we used to go to all these shows in San Jose and then random shows in Las Vegas. I would go with you. So you
And-
gave me a lot of...
You'll never see that kind of fun again, like we had then. Like it's just
Oh,
doesn't
because I don't do
exist.
those drugs anymore,
Well,
so
it
it'll
just-
never be that kind of fun again.
Just doesn't. When you pack 16 people into like a Chevy Volt, and just drive across the U.S. to do a show that's gonna pay you about $30. That was a lot of fun though.
It was like a cannabis clown car.
Yeah, it was a lot. Yeah, and always full of smoke, because there's still a joint going around. Somebody's
Yeah,
doing
the
a
door
dab.
opens and we all just pour out.
And then Tommy used to dress up as the skunk or the lion.
I was a goddamn lion, man.
He was the lion. So at the HempCon events, I had a theory, because you get 30,000 people, and they'd always have these very hot women working these booths. And I'm afraid of hot women. I have no game. I'm the worst when it comes to talking to women. And I'd be scared of them. So I figured if I dressed everybody up like skunks and lions and tigers and had like Mickey Mouse mascot characters running through, that it would be more approachable to bring, people to them. And there would. Tommy hugged. So how many strangers did you hug during a HempCon event, would you say, Tommy?
I don't know, but it really helped my immunity because I have not gotten sick since then.
I will tell you one thing. Pre-COVID, we had Cody Morley dressed as the skunk, and that year I had an infestation of fleas or whatever, ticks. Who knows what the hell it was? But he was stuck in this suit that's maybe 120
dude.
degrees, and he's just
That
being
was-
eaten alive.
That was fleas, man.
It was
because
fleas. They
you
were
had
in yours,
left the costumes in the back shed behind your house.
Yes. And then I made you guys wear them. I pulled them right from the shed.
Oh, I
No
didn't go that
wash.
year, man.
You didn't go that year?
I didn't go that year.
Flea bags.
Dude, it was like 400 flea bites. Cody almost died. Auntie Amy had to like dump water on his head, because he was just
Had to
overheating.
dump water on his head.
And I was yelling because I was like, "You don't take the head off. You're gonna ruin it for people."
It's like seeing Mickey Mouse without his head on.
So, speaking of Mickey and head, what got you into comedy?
What got me into comedy?
Yes, what got you into comedy?
Okay, there you are. Well, I had crashed my car, and my heart had stopped briefly. And when I came back to life, I had started journaling a bunch of stuff. And around the same time, I was going to community college and taking public speaking classes. And they said you needed to get over your fear of being on stage. So thankfully, I had a friend of mine. You remember Eric, right?
Eric Knowles.
Martin.
Eric Martin. Eric, what do we call him? The Joint Martin.
Yeah. But he started helping me figure out how to do every kind of fucking stage shit because neither of us had any idea how to do stand-up. And I started with him, and it gave me a lot of lot of confidence at the time because I was just a different person altogether.
And you're a filthy comic. Like people, you see Tommy, and he's the sweetest. Like he's the guy in the movie. You don't want him to die ever.
Sir, need I remind you? I just got back from Hawaii from doing clean comedy.
How the hell did you pull off a clean show? I mean, like
because you want to know how? Because I'm fucking amazing.
Did you just bleep yourself? Did you just tell the same jokes and bleep? You know.
Hey, no, man, I fucking actually did it. I mean, I just talked opposite of how I normally do in conversation.
Well, yeah, he's like, there's dirty comics, and then there's that level that makes you go, I either really love this, but I feel like I should leave. You know, like I'm.
As someone that's going and touring on the road and shit like that, you know, it's not the dirtiest thing in the world, because I am able to fucking book shows and tour and do all that stuff just on my own now, on my own
accord. What's the dirtiest
excellence, I would say?
What's the dirtiest road story you have? Like, what's the dirtiest thing you ever did out there in some city you have no respect for? You know, Wichita.
Oh, I wouldn't say I don't have respect for the city, but I would say the worst thing that's ever happened, it was probably back when I was still drinking. And the person I was with kept feeding me cherries from this jar of moonshine that you buy at like a long
delicious.
Drug. You remember those? Yeah.
Super
delicious. She was feeding me those, and then later on in the evening, I started doing shots of the moonshine. I black out at one point, and the following morning, I found out that I had thought somebody's closet in their bedroom was the bathroom. And I slid the door open and just peed in the closet. I would hereby like to officially apologize to those folks because I never saw them again. And I'm very, very sorry to you people.
See, and that's the thing with drinking that people don't like, because if I want to drink, I'm drinking because usually I just want to pass out and go to sleep. You know, I want to get the demon thoughts out. So I'll drink, but then I'll fall asleep before the alcohol's kind of kicked in. So you're getting drunker while you're sleeping, and then you wake up. Everybody's got stories that you were wandering around and peeing in hallways. I had a story. I won't even tell you when, but I woke up, peed in the hallway, and then the person I was with was like, I didn't want to embarrass you, but, you know, after you peed in the hallway, you finally made it into the bathroom. I was like, yeah, thank God, you know, thank God. And then she's like, but then I heard you peeing, and I was like, that's not sounding like it's hitting water in the toilet. So I think I peed on my
I'd like to remind everybody at this time, I'll be doing a live show. Man Tap Tap.
I have a show coming up with you on the 17th, St. Patrick's Day.
Are we doing a show together?
Mm-hmm. I told Jimmy Menez, put me on all your shows. So we're going to go to Reading together. We're going to have an awkward Reading trip.
We're going to have an awkward Reading. What trip to Reading isn't awkward, sir?
And then we're going to be in Hayward for St. Patrick's Day. You can see Tommy and I performing live stand-up comedy. Wow.
Well, I'm glad that you're telling me because I had no idea of this run that I was on.
We should jump Paul. Paul, you want to get jumped into a show?
Yeah, I'd be glad to. What's going on, Tommy?
Paul Brumbaugh, everybody. Yes. The edge of insanity himself, San Francisco's son, Paul Brumbaugh.
Oh, my God. You've been working on that voice for a while, haven't you?
Only for your name, Paul. I haven't been doing it with anybody else's name.
Only fans.
That's right. My OnlyFans fan page. There you go.
So, yeah, Paul.
If you ever fell down, just imagine me in front of a mirror doing that with your name only.
2 hours a day.
I can't wait to go. Last time I went to Reading with Tommy was like 10 years ago, and I think he married the chick there.
The last time I opened for you was when you had sex with my ex. Hey,
that's only accurate if you consider as your ex. Where I was thinking of, we were closing a circle that much needed closing, and I feel closer to you because of it. Like closter to you. If it helps, she called me Tommy like 4 times. After the second time, I was like, just let her do it.
I mean, most of them do, but
you could have sex with my ex. My extra sister.
I don't mind being double Eskimo brothers with you, but I just don't want to get to third because
What's
third time's a charm, and I don't want to pick up anything extra. I don't have any insurance anymore, so
You don't want to go after me. You'll go before, but not after, is what you're saying.
I will. That's the only way. I'm not opening for you in that way, sir.
I think Jimmy Menace says she tried to have sex with him too. So it's going to be an awkward Reading show because the whole cast, I believe, may or may not have had sex
And
with your ex.
let's just say, to blanket this whole thing, I've had many girlfriends, and many exes. You do not know which one we're talking about, so
Everybody knows which one. No.
Don't worry, Tommy.
Everybody
There's
knows.
a class action lawsuit.
Tommy's out there like Johnny Sperm Seed. You know, he's just traveling state to state, leaving little Tommies behind.
Oh, and
No, you know what's weird is I've never had any actual pregnancy scares, and for a long
Well, that's
time
because you're a
that
boy,
really
Tommy.
made me happy.
Boys don't get pregnant.
It really made me happy that no girls ever come back to me and like, I think I'm pregnant.
It's because you're blocking them on Facebook as soon as you pull out of town.
At one point, I'm gonna have to be like, "Is this a health problem, bro?" It's like,
oh, and also,
at what
can I
what
jump
point
in?
do I start to worry, Paul?
Yeah, I want to ask one thing is because we're all been hosts of shows, right? Have I been pronouncing Jimmy's last name wrong? I thought it was Menezes.
No, Menendez.
No,
Menendez.
His the way I pronounce his name depends on how much weed I smoked that day.
Okay.
Menendez.
So it's
Menendez.
constantly changing. But it's Jimmy Dave Menez, everybody.
It is Menez?
How many drugs has Tommy done? Many. That's how you think of it.
That's a good one. One time, me and Tommy had an eggnog drinking competition.
Oh
on the
yeah,
radio
we
show.
vomited all over the plastic covered room.
we made custom puke buckets. So we had the girls make us these cool buckets that had targets in them at the bottom.
First of all, you had that room decked out like a fucking serial killer who's getting ready to bring their newest victim into it.
I didn't know how this was
There
going
was
to go.
plastic all over the floor and walls. It looked like somebody was going to have a Dexter like reboot in there.
Was it slang
And then he was
radio?
telling me we're both going to chug all of this eggnog. I'm like, all right, sure. I hadn't eaten in a while
Right
at
at
that
the
time. I
beginning
didn't
of
really
the show.
take care of myself. So, and yeah, it just started going back and forth until we looked like
Well,
Roman candles,
Jesse
if you will.
Egan
Like,
was the comedic guest on the show that day, I
yeah,
believe.
poor Jesse.
So we started out drinking. Every show Jesse went on went horribly wrong. One show he did the furniture. We took out all the furniture for the band, and then we all had to sit on the floor for the second half of the show because we couldn't get the furniture back in time. So and Jesse's like, I'm not sitting on the floor. So then he's the only one in a chair, and we're all sitting around him like we're looking up at Jesus. But we drank, me and Tommy were drinking this eggnog, chugging it, and then we just start to violently vomit. But we still had Jesse Egan coming on the show. So I'm like, so, what got you started in, comedy in the last 5 years? I was like, pay no attention to that. We're going to power through this. And
It was like a Monty Python skit. Man.
You're like, when you drink eggnog, you don't even feel the vomit coming out. It's like your
Yeah,
throat
you know what?
opens.
It's oddly comfortable.
And it's good. If you like the ginger, it's like, just going down, coming up. This is a nice Christmas experience.
I think you probably need to talk to somebody about enjoying the flavor of that because I didn't enjoy that at all.
Well, what did
It
you eat
was
before?
disgusting.
It was a
But I have
burrito.
drank eggnog since then, so I mean, you get over it.
Yeah, it was. We probably puked up a good couple gallons apiece of eggnog on that show. It was fantastic.
I'd like to remind everybody, I got some shows coming up. I'll be doing some live stuff. You guys,
Gift him an
the
eggnog.
22nd of this month, I'll be in Oceanside.
Ooh.
Just want to put that out there. 22nd of March.
For me.
Where?
Oh, come on down, Benji.
Where in Oceanside? What venue?
Jimmy O's.
Oh, Jimmy.
Oh, yeah, Jimmy O's.
Come on through, Benji.
Tastes like cereal.
I don't know
Been
if
there
you
a long
drink,
time.
but you can have my free one. I don't drink.
I don't drink either.
Well, then we'll share some wings. Come to the show, but
Give it to another patron or a homeless person. who can use it.
Mail it to me.
It's Oceanside. Where are you going to find a homeless person?
See, that's the thing with comedy.
Swing a cat.
When you're
Really? Has it gotten bad?
when you're in
Well, it's
comedy, how hard is it, Tommy, to be a sober? Because Tommy again was like Artie Lang, like he was doing everything everywhere. But you have like every show is free drinks, or there, you know, that's like here's drinks, and we'll pay you in drinks.
Well, it's easy once you get used to it, man. I mean, I didn't fucking have to really deal with too much because we had that pandemic where everything was closed anyway.
Is it still going on? Are we still? I can't tell if we're still in the
Well, I
pandemic.
mean, the shutdown helped my sobriety immensely. I didn't have to go to the bar that I used to work at and work around a bunch of booze. I didn't have to go anywhere. So it helped me sober up quite a bit, amongst other things I stopped doing. But it's a lot easier than you'd think, you know. Just I have them convert all the free drink tickets to food now.
You're still smoking weed,
I take
though,
a
right?
date and I'm like, hey, you want a drink? Let me get you a drink. What would you like?
You still smoke weed? Are you still hitting the old dab rig,
Like
doing
a-
those 40-gram
Like
dabs?
an effing train, sir. Like it's going out of style.
Well, that's fantastic. What's your go-to now? Are you finding that you're getting older and falling out of the cool kids weed scene, or is everything the same?
How you mean, man?
I mean, like nowadays you got people that are smoking their weed, no bullshit, with lasers. Like there's a laser that shoots through, and that's how your weed goes, or they're smoking it virtually, or you know, all kinds of crazy kid crap that's going on out there.
No, I've been asked to go smoke weed virtually, and I just left. I just laughed and left the circle of conversation. I just walked away. I didn't know how to respond to that. It's weird.
Did you do any
Too
of
much
those,
for Tommy.
those virtual comedy shows? Did you try any of those out?
The closest I got to that was Zoom.
Yeah, I think that's like the worst feeling in the world, because you do comedy for a virtual audience, but you can't feel the laughter, like you can't hear it.
At least at the end of a execution on the internet, you get to see somebody die at the end, and it's entertaining.
Yeah.
It's never entertaining when someone dies on a Zoom comedy.
Tommy's doing snuff comedy. Snuff comedy.
Good time, man.
Yeah, that's good, but you can only do it once.
I mean, you already know the closer. It's like watching Titanic. You know how it's going to end, but still fun.
So, what do you have coming up in the future? You doing television, movies? It seemed you were on. Oh, and don't let me not mention this. How did I forget? Tommy is best known for he was on Let's Make a Deal, and he
Price
won.
is Right,
Price
you
is
son
right.
of a bitch.
Price is right. The price is wrong, bitch. Tommy was on The Price is Right, made it all the way up to the big spinny wheel, and when he spun it, he thanked Wu-Tang Clan and yelled out like Wu-Tang forever and want to thank Wu-Tang. And then Wu-Tang found and saw this because they're big fans of The Price is Right. Of course, how could you not be?
Yeah, and I got entirely too many Instagram followers.
And now, yeah, but you're like the downest dad bod, like you're, you know, like the old dude on,
Yeah, I got
on the
to meet,
game show that grandma's watching now.
I got to meet two of the founding members of Wu-Tang Clan when they came through.
And this isn't just it. You've done like quite a few game shows, haven't you?
No, so far just Price is Right. You're only allowed to do but so many in a certain amount of time.
Weren't you on like Wheel of Fortune? Or you just go to them, or what's going on there? I feel like a lot of your posts are about being at game shows.
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, buddy.
Audition.
And then, and then I was one of the paid audience people for the virtual fucking what is it? America's Funniest Home Videos.
Yeah.
There's a little square on the screen.
Do they actually show you
Yeah.
the videos, or you just have to laugh
Yeah.
and stare at a
You
green
sit there.
screen?
Oh well, you watch a couple videos, but then after that, they also just tell you, "All right, everybody laugh. All right, stop laughing."
Did you have to audition for that? Did they make you laugh inside the room by yourself and then stop laughing, or
No, it's my horrible acting career and how it's going.
that's what the agent pulled in? I got the spot for you, Tommy. The tides are changing.
No, man, it's just like
we're looking up.
I do the show The Smartleys, and from that I got a lot of
That's right. You're in a series. See, we didn't talk about any.
I
of the
got a
cool
lot of random other stuff thrown my way just from being on that.
Can you?
And that happened to be one of those things
And
that I
that
got out of doing The Smartleys was
where can people
being
watch
on
it?
America's Funniest Home Videos.
Where can,
Random stuff comes up. I mean,
where
the
can people see
Smartleys
the
is,
Smartleys?
it's very popular in India and is getting more popular in Australia.
Oh.
So I mean, maybe one day I can move to like New Delhi and be
Dude,
like.
How
I don't know,
awesome would it
Jafar.
be if you get to Australia and people are going ape shit nuts when you get off the airplane walking through? Oh my God, it's the Bumbly or whatever character you're playing in that.
Because they'd be screaming in that accent. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Oh, the Australian. I don't care what you look like, but if you have an
G'day,
Australian
then.
accent, it is the hottest. On a female, it's hot. On a dude, it sounds like sewer. But Australian.
Bro, it's
women,
hot either way. Any old port in the storm, my friend.
They got a bowl of Percocets and a regret list.
I got 1 out of 2 of those, and it ain't the regret list, Michael.
Where can people see you in the future?
Right now, we got March 22nd at Jimmy O's, like I mentioned. Then we also got my Main Tap Tavern show on the 25th of this month. I'll be hosting that. And I'm also hosting for WCC Comedy in Escondido at Mike's Barbecue. I'm hosting that show. That'll be this month. And then you can also watch me on the Smartleys on both Tubi and Plex TV, and it's been picked up by a bunch of other streaming channels.
So we don't have to go to India. We can actually watch this here at home.
Yeah, you can watch it here and watch me be entirely over-animated. If you know me in real life, you can see my acting chops are very top tier.
Well, I think that you're the greatest, and I hope in this movie you don't die.
Oh, also, Michael, you can also watch me on Patience, back episodes of Patience.
Fat Tommy.
My
That was
favorite
Fat
one, and the
Tommy.
one that I give people to watch as part of a reel, if they ask for any samples of my acting ability, is I send them the speed dating. Like if anybody wants to watch my favorite episode of Patience, watch the speed dating episode on YouTube, where I play Flirty Verdi.
You look like
That,
the girl gremlin with the green
Yeah,
hair
that
and the
has gotten
giant
me
lips.
into at least a lot of auditions
And
showing people that clip.
I wrote this whole movie, but Tommy improv'd his entire, every single word was on the spot, right out of his mouth. And he's just dressed in a speed dating, hitting on dudes and puppets and all the weirdness that we do, and he just killed it. He was like, I got a bowl of Percocets next to my bed, and if you're looking for a 4-letter word, we can do that.
I was supposed to be twins, but I ate the other one.
Do you remember the line, when you were doing the scene with Richard? Man, it was a long one. You were like, you just rolled on it though, but you were like, yeah, any port in the storm or fog rolling in.
Oh yeah. Because I went outside and I was like, I was trying to come up with something that would be memorable. So I came up with that.
Do you remember what it is?
Oh no, I don't remember it.
Well, so much for memorable.
To be honest.
It's memorable for other people.
Well, watch
I've
it.
done so much.
Watch
at
it
this
at
point,
home.
Michael.
Patience
I've
episode
done
3.
so much.
And Tommy's in all the Patience series. He's the bad guy. They all see all these people either worked for me or had something to do with my actual dispensary that we wrote about. And then Benji writes the comic Patience, so you can watch it in comic form. We're trying to animate it with Martin Archer from the Rick and Morty team, and he's working on that with us, except for my half of the skill sucks, so I'm really slow. Make Benji do it. Little Tommy cartoon running around. It's gonna be wonderful.
You made me try to think of the damn line. Ah, damn it, Michael.
Yeah, it was like, I'll float your boat was in it. Or...
Well, they were all improv, so I mean, it's hard to remember.
Yeah, no, they were fantastic.
Look here, I've seen all the winches that have been swimming in your wake, and I want to tell you that I'm the one that can raise your mainsail. There we go.
That's the one.
That's the one.
That's the one. Oh, he's got it right there. It's Tommy's. Benji has the invisible comic Patience.
Yeah,
There you go.
It's kind of green screening out a little bit, but
That actually looks
Hey,
cool.
Tommy,
You look like you have like a cellophane animated cell. That's what they call it. Looks like you have a
that
cell.
would be a great idea.
yeah.
Oh, well, that's
Look
fun.
into that.
Yeah. Tommy, what's your favorite weed?
Durban Poison.
Wow. When was the last time you actually got to see that? That's one of them old strains.
It's been quite a few years, but I have fond memories.
Well, I want to thank you for coming on to the show today. I'm going to see you soon. You can see me and Tommy on the 17th in Hayward, California. Jimmy Mzez. Look up his page. It's like 6 N's and a couple Z's, wherever you want to put it.
Before we check out, I just wanted to make sure and thank a couple of my sponsors, if I could.
NA or AA?
Oh, no. You're not supposed to thank them. That's part of the anonymous part.
Hey, thanks, Richard, for always being there at 4 a.m. when I call you with the
Thanks,
shade.
Dave, every time I woke up at 3 o'clock and needed a drink.
So,
Broccoli Farms and surfscripts.org.
really,
Check
broccoli?
those out online. Broccoli Farms for all your greenery needs and awesome T-shirts, as well as Surf Scripts for all your natural wellness needs. Surfscripts.org, everybody.
Tommy sponsored by Broccoli, the plant. You can find it at Trader Joe's.
Michael, if you looked at a picture of me, you could it's sponsored by any vegetables.
Well, Tommy, I want to thank you for coming on to the show, brother. Your Instagram is what?
Tommy the Roach.
Well, that's fantastic. We have callers trying to call in, too. We're not going to answer
God.
them now because it's on that. I don't know how to work the phone system just yet. I just
Well,
tell
thank
everybody, you can
goodness,
call in
because
live. And
I would be very worried if any of them actually know me.
Shout out to the callers calling in. We do appreciate you. And I'm going to figure this out, and then maybe we'll answer it. Well,
cool.
thanks, Tommy. We appreciate you. We love you.
Hey, hold on. Wait.
no,
Wait.
we're
Hey,
good.
Paul.
Go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Paul,
Yes, sir.
when are you coming down and doing my show?
When are you booking me, Mr. Lucero?
Send me your availability. And also, Paul,
Yes, sir. I'm looking right at you.
bring a DMT pen if you can find it. And also, if you have any mushrooms,
So they sell,
bring those.
they
Don't
sell-
tell anybody. I know no one's going to hear this. That's why I'm asking you.
Well, no,
Yeah.
check this out.
2,200 views on the last episode.
San Francisco and Oakland, you can buy magic mushrooms over the counter in a club.
Oh, I'll Venmo you,
can
and you
buy
bring some candy
Brazilian
bars.
tree bark that you can process in your Cuisinart to DMT in a place called like Mr. Wonder's Emporium or something like that in San Francisco. It's something weird.
Sounds like we got a new sponsor.
And so yeah, and so if you we'll find you some of that Brazilian tree bark, bud.
Brazilian tree
I
bark.
just did this
Hell
big
yeah,
thing
dude.
about how sober Tommy is and how hard is it to be a sober comic. Hey,
Hey,
bro,
man, I'm California sober.
grab me a DMT pen before you hit. I don't want to eat these
It's
mushrooms
legal.
solo.
It's legal, bro.
That doesn't mean you're sober if it's legal.
I just said.
You know what's
California.
legal?
You got to
Glue.
remember,
Apparently
California's sober.
he couldn't hear me.
Glue is legal.
The big difference is I'm not waking up at Greyhound stations in Bakersfield anymore. I'm not
That's what
fighting
counts
random
as
people
sober.
at bars.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know?
He doesn't wake up with covered in blood, laying in the zoo
Yeah,
cage.
Exactly.
That's funny. Well, I do want to thank you, Tommy. I appreciate you for coming on. And
You know what, Michael? I want to tell you, while we're on this radio station that you said people are listening to, I really appreciate you helping me get out there and do the touring stuff initially. I don't know if I ever told you, but I really am grateful to you for helping me get out of my shell and most of all, be uncomfortable and do things I normally wouldn't have done as far as comedy-wise. And drugs.
Well, thank you, man. Your mom actually paid me $20 to hang out with you.
That's a lie. I know she don't got $20.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. She paid me like $8 and still owes me 12. She's like, I catch you on the flip side. When I see him on Netflix, I'll give you the other 12. It's an installment plan on the whole career. It was taking.
You're like the Rent-A-Center of celebrity.
Yeah, I tried to get 25, but she wasn't budging.
25, not with the inflation these days.
She wasn't budging. I love you, brother, and thank you for
Take
being
care of
on.
yourself, Mike.
And I will talk to you again shortly.
All right, man.
Have a great day.
See you around.
All
Bye,
right.
Paul. Bye, Benji.
Bye. Take it easy, man.
That
Later.
was Tommy the Roach Lucero. Tommy Lucero, you could see him all over California and the United States. If you're out there listening and you're in Ohio or somewhere crappy that isn't here, you can bring Tommy to you and your place will be less crappy. Just ask for Tommy Lucero. Very funny comic. And apparently he can work clean now, which I dearly doubt. He must have done like a 1.5 minute set.
Aliens came down and snatched him out of his body. That's what they did. They snatched him out of his body.
So what we're going to do now is I'm going to play you guys another Nuppets episode. Then we're going to get into the news and do that awesome things. So please enjoy me and Benji's babies, our life work, our Omnipah, or whatever they call that. And that's The Nuppets, brought to you by Nug Life Productions.
Good day and welcome to Nuppet News. I'm Russ Richmond.
And I'm Burner.
And today we're broadcasting live from Canamom Sierra Riddle's bathroom.
Ew, it smells.
Hi guys, hey
Hi.
everybody.
Hi,
Hey.
Sierra.
I'm Sierra Riddle, and I'm the mother of an extraordinary 5-year-old named Landon who has been using medical marijuana to battle his aggressive cancer since he was 2 years old.
Has he been smoking marijuana since he was 2?
Burner, of course not. There are so many other ways to use cannabis and to ingest it other than smoking. Some of them I'll show you that I use every single day, and a lot of
Absolutely.
people do.
Like what?
Like this handy dandy nose spray from Canna Originals. And it has lots of awesome things in it other than cannabis.
You
like,
put it in your nose?
Yes, you put it in your nose, just like allergy spray, one on each side, and it helps you throughout the day with the healing powers of cannabis.
The magical healing powers of
That
cannabis.
could help me with my allergies.
Yes,
I'm allergic to
it
burner
could.
sometimes.
Then we have, a lot of people like energy drinks and things like that, but they're not really good for you. Here we have one from Couch Lock that is a awesome way to get your cannabinoids and a quick little energy boost.
Oh, the get up and go you need in the morning.
Yes, and speaking of going, Burner, I think a lot of people out there have problems with being constipated or needing to get cannabis through the back door. So they
The
have
secret entrance.
Yes, they make Canna Originals also makes a THC infused suppository, and this is so good for tons of people that need to use it for medical reasons, prostate cancer, ovarian cancer, all kinds of awesome things.
I'm wearing one now.
Burner.
Oh, Burner, you're so funny.
Try it on.
There are so many different ways out there other than what we've showed you to use cannabis, and education is the #1 key, and that's what we like to spread around here at Nug Life is a little bit of education. And we would love for everyone to really understand and realize that there are a lot of people out there serving time in prisons and jails for cannabis products, just
This
like the one you
bathroom is a
saw.
prison.
Burner, stop. And, if you guys want to check out some of their stories and maybe see some of the people who are serving time for cannabis-related crimes, please check out POW420.com.
.com.
Yay! Thank you, guys. Stay tuned for the next educational episode from Nug Life.
Thanks, Sierra.
Thank you for joining us today, Sierra.
Check out Sierra on Instagram and Twitter and MySpace. Sierra Riddle, support #Team Landon.
Team Landon.
Team Landon.
Now back to Nug Life TV.
See you next time.
Welcome back to the Nug Life Radio Show, a higher level of education for the cannabis counterculture community out here in beautiful San Francisco at Edge Studios. Edge Studios Online has a whole variety of shows that are just awesome. Not as awesome as this one, but still awesome. But that's why you're here listening to me right now. But I want you to go over there and give them a listen to and share them and love them and treat them like my children. Benji Cooper, we are back. Shout out and thanks to Sierra Riddle for doing that with us. Man, she is like an angel with those puppets. Like, she really worked off those puppets really well.
That was a good segment. I was actually proud of that one on a technological standpoint because I figured out how to do it to where we could interact with the background. If you notice, she grabbed stuff that was sitting on the sink in there, which is a virtual backdrop. Yeah, I was kind of proud of that one.
Yeah, that was awesome. We have to do more of those at some point. I do have more puppets. I've been doing more. They just look like crap. So I like to show the ones that we did because those look great. Except for our puppets were low. Now we have to bring the puppets up.
Yes.
But we have weeks and weeks and weeks of awesome little puppet segments and cannabis education stuff that we're going to be able to show you guys out there. And speaking of cannabis education, watch this.
Now, from around the world, country, around the corner. And around and around and around we go. It's Nug Life Radio, Nug News with Benji.
That's your cue, Coop.
Sorry, I couldn't hear the intro.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so if you're a cannabis if you're a cannabis user and have a joint injury or are seriously considering sustaining a joint injury in the future, there's good news. According to a recent study published in the Arthroplasty Journal, cannabis users have a shorter hospital stay following an arthroplasty, which is an elective orthopedic surgical procedure where a joint's articular surface is replaced, remodeled, or redesigned. The recent study focused on patients who underwent total joint arthroplasty, and according to the results, patients with a history of cannabis use disorder, a term I don't particularly agree with, had significantly shorter stay lengths and higher rates of home discharge compared to a control group. And the researchers say that while cannabis is primarily used for recreational purposes, cannabinoid metabolites have been shown to have analgesic and anti-inflammatory properties, and have thus been proposed as an alternative to opioids in the management of acute and chronic pain. Now, according to Normal, other studies have reported contrary findings, including one in the Lancet that determined that patients with cannabis use disorder more often required advanced post-procedural health care than non-users. Now, personally, Mike, I would say this topic needs more research for a more definitive answer, though I will say that from what I've heard and what I've read, cannabinoids have restorative properties, particularly CBD, which I hear is good for accelerating bone healing and other injuries.
And a quick question, too, is what is cannabis use disorder? What are they trying to classify that as?
They're saying that's heavy users, people that because I don't really consider cannabis to be
like
addictive
burnouts.
Traditional sense of the word addictive. Sure, you can be addicted to anything, but it doesn't come with the same physical addictive properties that other drugs like, say, nicotine or even cocaine or stuff like that come with, where you get just kind of, it may be different for different people, but I never get any physical withdrawal symptoms from cannabinoids.
Yeah.
Nicotine was a different story. That was hard to quit.
Just the whole running out is the only issue. When you're like out of weed, you're pissed because you're out of weed. But that's like the same thing with like ham and cheese. Like if you're out of ham and cheese, you're going to be pissed you're out of ham and cheese if you eat ham and cheese.
Right. You're not going to be you're not going to be shaking and just like physically having a fit because you're not getting THC in your body.
Right. Grow your own. What else you got in the news?
All right, well, if you plan on heading to New Orleans for Mardi Gras this year, there may be some new beverages for you to enjoy during the festivities, and that's because thanks to new laws in Louisiana, Delta 8 THC beverages will be on the menu at bars now, like one called Tipitinas, though you might have to check ahead if your favorite watering hole has them. Crescent 9 seltzers are one of the brands that will be available, and the brand expects their beverages to be available at almost all of the bars and clubs in town. Now, Crescent 9 is among the first cannabis brands to get their drinks into New Orleans bars, and Delta 9 is still not legal in Louisiana other than for medical cannabis patients, but Delta 8 is. So you won't need your doctor's recommendation for Delta 8 beverages, just your ID, which should state that you're over the age of 21. Otherwise, you will not be served. And the aforementioned Crescent seltzers have 6 milligrams of Delta 8 THC, 3 milligrams of CBD, terpenes, and a bit of caffeine for what they say is an uplifting psychoactive experience. And they're also nano-encapsulated, so you start feeling the effects within about 15 to 30 minutes, kind of like alcohol. So what do you say, Mike? Want to do a Mardi Gras trip?
I don't like Delta 8. I think that's so lame. Like, it's because I smoke THC. If you're not a big THC smoker, that Delta 8 is amazing. These people out in the Midwest, and like, they preach for it. They'll be like, I don't want your weed. I got my Delta 8. And I've had them tell me that. But as a THC user, Delta 8 is like diet weed.
It depends. In my experience, it seems to depend on your consumption method. Because my first experience with Delta 8 ever was I got a little bit of it from a friend of ours, just the oil itself, and I took a little glob and I just ate it. It was already decarbed, from what I understood, and it gave me a pretty hefty high for about 5 hours.
Real. Usually it lasts
Yeah.
like it's supposed to. Well, I'm sure you probably consumed the concentrate of concentrate of concentrate, but it's supposed to be like a 30-minute, or if even buzz, like a lunch break kind of thing. And I've had it makes you feel like you have pillow feet, or for me anyway. It was very just different,
Yeah, and I've kind of had that similar experience using a highlighter that I got a few months back. And yeah, it was kind of a lighter high, but I will say that completely contrasted with my experience of ingesting it, where I was, like I said, I didn't take that big of a glob of this oil, but when it hit, it hit. And with coming from someone who's had, decades of experience with cannabis, I was actually kind of surprised at how hard it hit.
Really, I have to give it a try. Maybe it depends on the product that you're using as well.
That could be.
And
Yeah.
this is Delta 9 versus Delta 8.
Yes. How do I make your? How come I can't hear you?
I don't know.
think
You
it's
should be
wire.
able to hear
I
me.
messed
Sorry
with.
about
I
that.
there you go. I
There
messed
you
with
go.
all the buttons.
So how do you know? So this is the difference between 9 and 8.
Well-
You felt the difference, Benji?
Yes. It actually felt like a different high, too. It didn't feel quite the same as Delta 9. It was kind of like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like they're two different head states that are similar, but different.
When you're purchasing, I don't know how to say allegedly. When I allegedly purchased a few kilos of Delta 9 or Delta 8, it's used to spike the Delta 8. You'll find people will put Delta 9 in the Delta 8 because the Delta 8 is legal. And it's not super detectable, and then they'll try to pass it, and you'll think your Delta 8 is like super phenomenal. When traditionally it's like what you would give to the elderly or children. No, for medical reasons.
Is it gonna,
for medical reasons, of course.
Is it going to be like every other thing, like the FDA numbers, like red dye number 40 now? I think we're on red dye number 40.
No, those are synthetics, where they're actually just taking the cannabinoids, which are the active ingredients, whatever, in cannabis, and they are separating them. So you have your cannabidiol, cannabinol, cannabigerol, and they all have their different 3 little digits. So you have CBD, which they separated first, and because it didn't get you high, people are like, okay, we'll pass this. Even though, in my opinion, out of the hundreds of cannabinoids that are there, a huge percentage are very beneficial medically, if not all of them. So when they separate it like that, I get like a little frown because I'm like, it's just for marketing, marketing reasons. And so now they're doing Delta 8, Delta 9, Delta 10. And then I think
I haven't tried the Delta 10 yet.
Delta 10 each one kind of goes up a little and I'm not an expert on the deltas just yet, but each one's a little stronger than the last, they're as far as length. And then you have THCV, THCO, and I believe THCP.
THCO is actually one that's kind of in some controversy right now because it's, I believe it's considered an analog, and just the method that they use to make it, from what I understand, is the same method that they use to make, I believe, heroin. And they say it's not probably the best thing to inhale just because of what's produced through that method. Ingestion might be okay, but I don't know. I haven't researched it enough.
And not to scare anybody, because it's also the same method you do heroin. It's like the same way you make lavender oil, or things that are a little common. And that's, you're getting into chemistry now, so you have to do some separating, and you need the actives to unbond whatever molecule you're going after.
Yeah, and the method alone is not necessarily a damning thing, because dabbing is essentially just freebasing, which is used for...
Paul, can we say freebasing? Or
yeah, no, I think we just got kicked out. We just lost Peoria.
Yeah, it is. We used to
Amish audience.
We used to take PVC pipe. Don't try this at home. Very important. I mean, unless you're good at it. But we take PVC pipe. You put 2 caps on it. You drill 5 holes on the bottom, 1 on the top. All right, and then you put a coffee filter right in between there, pack it full of your shaken weed, and then you blast it with butane containers. And you now have, I've blown my kitchen up, I've burnt the hair off my arms, and I'll still, like, it's worth it. It's not worth it. I'm just saying that. It is not worth it. Do not try this at home. You will blow yourself up. There's like an 80% chance that you're going to blow yourself up. Because even if, like I learned, if you put, that kind of gas on a stove, the gas is heavy and will fall down to that pilot light and it will blow the whole kitchen up.
Mm-hmm.
Allegedly.
Flammable gases. If you're going to extract at home, probably the safest method is doing rosin presses.
Yeah, rosin presses, water, cold water hash. You could do it with ice and water, and you throw it in your washing machine with a pillowcase.
And if you want the recipe, get it down below in our description.
Do we do that? Are we going to do that?
No, we can't.
You guys want to learn how to freebase weed?
It's free.
Yeah.
I can bring those numbers up.
Mm-hmm. We totally get medical marijuana kicked out. It's not they're not doing it medically. What else you got in the news? Anything?
When cannabis consumers head to the dispensary for some Girl Scout cookies, they're usually looking for the kind you smoke, usually. But there's some forward-thinking actual Girl Scouts out there that know once you get home, you're going to want some sugary snacks to satisfy your munchies. And on Sunday, a Girl Scout troop set up shop in front of 2 Herbal Aspect dispensaries in Madison, Wisconsin. Troop 8608 made sales at the University Avenue location before heading to the Winnebago Street shop. Now, this is the second year that the troop has sold cookies at the shops, and the shop's co-founder, Alan Robinson, says it's a chance for the shop to connect with the community and give the girls an opportunity to sell to new customers.
Why?
Robinson says he will also be bringing cannabis education to his shops, hoping to inform people on the good and bad of the industry and the proper way to use products. He says if the CBD items are going to be in the home, people need to be safe and responsible with them. So one of the things we're going to teach them is how to identify what might be a cannabis product in the future and what safe medically guided consumption might look like for minors. And you can never have too much cannabis education, right, Mike? Because I hear that's what we're all about here for the cannabis.
I get those
community.
Caramel, whatever, the caramel with the coconut, and they got the thing. What are those called? Why is my
Are those Samoas?
Samoas?
Samoas.
Those
are
things are
pretty good.
Man, I'll bet you they're like it's like $100 worth of cookies at a time. Like people are going in there and they're coming out and they're like, I'll take 9 of everything.
It's a smart place to set up.
I'll spend $50 on Girl Scouts just about every time I see them because everybody mouths those boxes down, and then after you spend that money. But I have to still get groceries. But if you get them away from the grocery store and you put them over at the weed shop, then that's all I got to eat is the Girl Scout cookies.
It's very entrepreneurial. You're going where the market is because you know that after they bring home their goods from the dispensary, they're going to want the goods that they buy from you because they'll be hungry.
I got kicked out of the Cub Scouts for eating a brownie once.
A magic brownie?
I had that T-shirt.
I did that joke last year when the story broke the first time when we were. Brownies are the group before you become a Girl Scout. You're a brownie.
Oh.
Yeah. It's good. It's supposed to go over your head. It's people in our age group should not even know they exist.
And these Girl Scouts aren't the first to do this. I remember hearing the first time, I think it was in Denver, Colorado, years ago. They were setting up, Girl Scouts were setting up in front of dispensaries, and it's still a brilliant idea today.
Yeah. I would kill right now. Like if you would just set up some Girl Scout cookies at the Oddfellows building in San Francisco, and I will make it so you don't have to work for the rest of the week. Thank you for the news, Benji. Appreciate you. Love you for the education every week. We have come down to the final of our show, the last minute here. Big special shout out and thank you to Tommy the Roach Lucero. Make sure you check him out. March 17th in Hayward. He had a bunch of shows, he said, and then something in Reading. I don't even know the date, but look up Jimmy Menendez. Thank you to Benji Cooper. Check him out at Nug Life News, Canna Geek News, and get all your cannabis-related information and everything you need to know. Thank you to Paul Brumpow and Singleton for doing all the hard stuff in the studio. I am your host, Medicinal Mike. Tune in next week when we have something else cool going on here. Also, San Diego Cannabis Farmers Market 420 on that date, 415 Kush Stock, and come see me at Wrestle Sesh Donuts for dollars. And then 422 Los Angeles, look up the Edible Sesh for Eventbrite for tickets. Me and the Godfather from WWE co-announcing live cannabis wrestling. This is a Nug Life Radio Show. We'll see you again next week. Thank you, everybody. Peace.
Peace.